Okay, hello everyone. Gonna record this here quickly Sunday morning before my day gets pretty busy. We're gonna do recent Tesla trades and SMTC. I posted these on on my X feed. Bit of questions around them. They're obviously not. I would say not as clean as setups that I normally take, but we'll go through the process and the thought process here in executing these two trades. Educational purpose only. Obviously, do your own due diligence. This is not recommendation to buy any securities. So let's jump in really quickly and get going here with Tesla. This is the trend line that I posted about in on X when I was watching it in it. But we're gonna remove everything here and then start fresh and take a fresh look at this. If you look at my X feed, I was in Tesla here. I bought it on this day, and I got stepped out on this day or sold it, something like that. You guys can see that stuff on my X feed. And then I went back in here, and I did make a little video on it, and then I believe I sold the high here, the extension here or here. And if you guys take a look at my X feed as well, I made a comparison of 2021 and now on the weekly chart for Tesla. I made a comparison between, I think it was this period and this period. You guys can search my X feed and see it. And I indicated I don't mean or think that Tesla is going into a bear market where how it did back in 2021. Yes, I totally see the difference between this area here, where this is coming after a massive advance, and this is coming out of a long base. I get it. All what I was trying to do with that post is that Tesla on a weekly basis was a little bit extended and expecting a pullback. And this is why I sold my stock on this extension. Now, it reversed. Shooting star, weekly shooting star, more meaningful than a daily shooting star. Doji, breaking the low, and now we have some selling. And this is on high volume, obviously. So what do I always say, especially on the weeklies, when you see bars like this, you want to give them a little bit of time. A few weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks. It really depends on the stock, the reversal, the theme, on and on and on. There's not one specific, you gotta wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You really gotta watch the stock. You gotta watch the market. You gotta watch the environment. You gotta watch the internals daily. But anyway, you got reversal, and then this is your kind of another base starting to build here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're rounding. You guys hear me talk about that a lot. We're rounding the bottom, okay? And then we're coming on the 10-week moving average after breaking out from massive consolidation. And we're still really, if you go back again, let's put that high on here for all-time high. Put that on here just for reference. So we'll keep it light like that, so it's not impacting the visibility of the chart. And you see acted as support here, pulled back, and now we're consolidating. The other thing as well is that if you measure from down here all the way up here, you've got 129% up move, and then if you measure the pullback on the stock down to here, 23% move. A little bit higher than what I like to see on a liquid stock. Like to see stay in that 20% zone when it pulls back. This is forming a high tide flag. 23%, a little bit higher than what I would like it to be, but it's fine. It's a strong stock. So there's a lot here. There's a volume. There's a lot of accumulation on the way up, and then pulling back. This obviously pulling back on volume. So I was not interested in this. This is way too short. I've made my most recent video that I made, the last video that I made, talked a lot about not trading short setups, short patterns. So this needs more time. If If it bounces and then goes, it goes without me. So now we get this pulling back on volume, tried to bounce, failed, came back in, all normal so far. And then this is what I'm liking now, coming back on low volume, coming back on low volume. So this is all good. We get this test of the 10-week MA, this steering. And then now we get another drift lower with really no volume. And obviously this is January, this is not December. So this is December. You can, say this is Christmas holiday, no volume, fine. This is January, coming in with low volume as well. And then you're doing this tight pullback. And now what you're starting to see is this round up, right? So let's do that visually. This is now rounding up that turn. And this is really what I would like to see. I don't like to see this and this, right? I like to see rounding that turn. So that's what I look for. And then now it start getting tight over here. Getting tight doesn't mean it's gonna bounce. Getting tight just means I now can back into this trade with a very minimal risk, okay? Tight range date here. You can say this is a little bit of a hammer. And I think I posted on that day here, or this day here on X, that Tesla most likely made the turn, either on this day or on this day. I was extremely, extremely interested in it right over here. So let's do that, okay? And let's change this to be a solid color and then, a regular color here. Oops, line. All right, let's do that blue. All right. So I was interested in this, and let's move it over to front. I was interested in this right here, and I had this pivot. This is what I was targeting. So bears tried to take it down. Bulls came back in and bought it. And now this is a very important low. Obviously, this is also a very important low. But if you measure from here down to here, the first candle is 6%. That's a little bit too much. I don't normally give them that much. So anyway, when the stock was looking like this, and also I've been trying to figure out this audio stuff. I'm having a hard time with the audio and getting it set up the way I needed to set up to sound okay to you guys. So I'll keep trying, but hopefully this is better than last time. If not, I'm gonna keep tinkering with it to figure out what's going on. So now you see how this looks, right? It's a lot different than just seeing it going. So this is what I was looking at, extremely interested. And then I think I posted that evening that Tesla's gonna gap up. Okay. Now I want to be in the stock. And then let's put this downtrend line. 2 points do not make a trend line, but however, what I like to do is just have it as a point of reference, just to be prepared more than anything. 1, 2, you need a third point to make a valid trend line. 2 points do not make a valid trend line, but a lot of any 3 touch point trend line starts with 2. So I want to have it as a reference, but I don't really give it any attention until it gets confirmed that this is now a trend line, because this is not a trend line yet. So with that in mind, I wanted to get in this stock on the pivot. Ideally, it'll open calm and then move out, and then your stop limit gets triggered on a liquid stock. Great. But I expected that we're going to gap up because this looks good. And that's what happens when something looks really good. The next day, it gaps up more often than not. So ultimately, what I end up doing is getting your stop limit, and then you can give it up to 1%, depending on how bad you need the stock from the pivot. So next day, the stock does this. So opens up. Again, what did I talk about the trend line? Now the trend line is confirmed. Now we have a valid trend line. Pulls back, and then I get filled. Not the greatest action, because we closed almost at the bottom after a gap up at the low of the day. But I left the position. We You took the risk, accepted the risk, you let it be. So I'm in the stock. Looks okay, a little bit of pickup in volume, but no distribution that we can see. Next day, it breaks the trend line. Looks really good. I added, so that's the first entry. I got a lot of questions on how did I get filled. This is how I got filled on the first entry. The next day, when it opened down here, and then was testing the 21 EMA, and very close to the pivot, this line here that you guys see is the 21 EMA. I added to my position. I pretty much doubled my position and made it a good size position. The reason why I did that, because I started not with my full oversized position here, because pulling back, and I wanted, there's good time. Again, this is high tech flag, trying to fish that bottom, that turn. Pulling back on the 21 EMA, I bought a little bit when it stayed here. That morning, it stayed there for a while, doing nothing. Can't remember how many minutes, but it was a few minutes, 15, 30 minutes, something like that. It's kind of set here for a while. Pulling back to the 21 EMA, doubled the position. Now, I doubled the position, and I tightened the stop, because now my average cost is somewhere around here. And I moved the stop to below this day right here. And that is, 3%. So that's pretty tight, instead of down here, 6%, 3%, right? So smaller size, I got that bigger stop of 6%, never more than 8, probably. I can't even remember the last time I took an 8% stop, unless the stock gaps down on me. But smaller size, 6%, still acceptable. Get the size big, my stop is 3%. If we reverse and we gapped up, we should hold. But this is not, I got a question on X. Hey, how did you buy it? This gapped up. Why are you buying it? It didn't really. It's not a gap. Zoom out. Where's the gap? Don't look at intraday charts. If you're working full time, looking at the intraday chart is a waste of your time. You don't have time to look at intraday charts on your phone and watch the 5-minute and the 30-minute and the hour. I've been there. It's a waste of time. Focus. This is not a gap up. There's no gap on the daily. So you buy it, you add, and then you manage the risk. So the risk is moved down here, have a big size position. Everything looks good here. And then the next day we do this, and normal, but I felt the heat. Obviously, this was down 3%. Inside day, low volume. You don't panic. You don't do anything. You just keep your stop, and you go do something else. You look at something not Tesla related, not stock related, so that you're not making emotional decisions on getting your position sold. And then you guys know what happened here. This is now a little bit shooting star. It's okay. Maybe I'll make it. You can make it tight here, because now we're breaking the trend line, coming back under it. We're breaking the 21 EMA. We're breaking the slow. So it's your call. There's no right or wrong when it comes to a stop. And a lot of people ask, where do you put your stop? Where do you put SPY? You put in here. Buy-in, if you are doing this style, we should all be buy-in right at the same place, give or take. But you can sell. Your selling is going to be a lot different than my selling and his selling and her selling and so on. So you can put the stop here, you can put the stop down here, you can put the stop down here, you can leave your stop down here. Stops are personal, and you decide where you want to put your stop, depending on your how are you doing this year, how aggressive you want to be, how risk adverse you want to be. There's a lot that plays into that. So now we're just watching this. This is the level I'm watching, and you guys can see, obviously, now it's, something has got to happen here. We either fail and then just go back down, or we chop another couple of days and maybe give us another pivot here to continue to add to the position. So hopefully that makes sense from execution, how it got filled, how did I add, and then move the stop so that I'm adding and keeping potentially the dollar risk the same, but the percentage risk is getting that tightened up. Now, let's go to SMTC. This one, I get a lot of questions on X about, hey, you buying breakout, you normally just buy pullbacks. I don't really just buy pullbacks. I'm a breakout trader by style. Mark Brevini, Bale O'Neill. That's kind of my influences. But I'm looking for a low risk entry, and if that low risk entry happened on a breakout, like a true breakout, I'm normally always buying before the new high. Or if it happens on a pullback, I'll get it on a pullback. It really depends on the environment and what is setting up. So I posted about this when it was doing this. If you go back and look at my Twitter feed, I think it was something like this. And I said, hey, bulls here need to start stepping up or something like that. This is December, obviously, so let's just cancel this and go take a look at this holistically and why we were looking at this. I'm going to remove this here. I'm going to keep this line because this is obviously very obvious support. And then you have it this in December, just sitting here, essentially doing nothing. Okay. I was interested in it here, but I wasn't. I think you guys remember me saying that I'm not doing any trades at the end of the year. I'm done. I close shop around Christmas or before, and just take a little break. But obviously, watching and can always watch. If you look at this here, there's a little bit that two line, but not significant. Anyway, this bounces and holding up a little bit better than the other stuff in this group. And then it bounces back up to the high, and then it pulls back in January. You see this pullback here in January on very, 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 very low volume. I wanted to buy it here on the 14th. And this is why. It was on my list, on the primary list that morning. Then you see you have this small mini trend line. Volatility, contraction, right? Volatility. One touch, two touch, three touches. And it gapped up and pulled back. I think, was this on the same day as Tesla? This probably was. Yep, it is. MTC. All right, let's go back. So same day. And that's kind of, when you're going back, there's a lot of factor that impacts what you're doing. So Tesla, bought it, pulling back on me, this pulling back on me. A lot of things was pulling back in the market. And I didn't have a resting order here. I was just watching it. But this is what happened. Now, the next day, we're here, okay? And I'm getting my watch list ready, getting things that I want to buy ready. You got to study the volume. You got to study what's going on. So this is still close to support. This is the 10-week MA and broke the trend line, pulled back, but look at the volume. Okay. This is not as scary. Look at this in isolation. No volume. Okay. This bar looks a little bit scary. Right? Bring in the volume in. Does not look scary. And this is a Tuesday. Okay. It's not Christmas. It's deliberately no one is selling. It's just fell because buyers are not stepping up yet. I love these pivots. Okay. So this is now rounding the turn. Okay. And this is your danger point right here. This is the 10-week MA. Because if this doesn't hold, you're most likely going back to the 50. And what I did is I bought this back over through this pivot. So let's move on one more. And then on that day, just like Tesla, because I bought Tesla that morning. I told you guys this was sitting here, and I think there was a gap up here on SPY and the market, but Tesla opened on the 21 EMA and sat there. So we go back to Tesla. Right, like I said, opened on the 21 EMA and sat there, and then this one, same time, SMTC opened right at that pivot and just sat there for 20, 30 minutes. You guys can go back and look at the intraday chart. And I was looking for stock that did not gap up, right? 3, 4, 5%. There was a lot of stocks that gapped up. And I think if you go back to my feed, you'll see, I said, stay patient, stick to the setups that you want. So you've got liquid stocks, this and Tesla. They're acting extremely strong. Market is gapping really, really high. And then these two just opened quietly and sat there for minutes and minutes and minutes to give you the ability to get into them. And this is where I bought this one right here. Okay. Now, the next day, this really tested everybody's convictions, pulling back to that support. And both of them pulled on me, right? I showed you Tesla pulled back. This one was pulled back almost 5%. Done nothing. My stop was here, moved my stop up here. So we're risking, see here, we bought it around here. And then now our risk is 1.3%. Our risk previously was 4%. So just left it. It's a pretty much scratch trade if it comes back. Coming back on high volume was a little bit concerning. This obviously did not pull back like Tesla low volume, but pulling back to support. A lot of you left comments on X that they bought this pullback. I do not do it that way. I don't buy them back just falling to support. It just, I need them to set up again. So this is fine as long as it can do this, right? And then I will buy it, turn it back, okay? So if just pulls back, I'll buy it, coming back out here. It didn't, obviously, so now it did this. It just, which is great. I'm in it already, but it did not give us that opportunity to get back in on a low risk entry, pullback entry. So hopefully that helped. Not a lot of things go like this, but this is just a little bit different. Kind of walk you through entirely my thought process, how I found them, and all that. I think the other one that I want to touch on is TSM, and similarly, this was a pullback buy, but I wanted to show you how you gotta make decisions and you gotta move on and accept what you're doing. So I bought TSM here, coming back into this pivot. So let's put that in here. Okay. So that's oops. Let's get that down. That's where I bought it. Coming back here, and I sold some here. I posted on X as well. Just kind of ripped up. I sold a little bit. I think I said half, 20%. I can't remember. And then I moved my stop to break even, and I got taken out over here. It's a deeper pullback than I want to see. I was hoping that this pullback holds here, okay, like this, right here. And I was hoping this is it. This is the pullback that we're gonna have, and it really didn't. I think I got taken out here, or here. I can't remember. It was around break even, but it didn't. And then honestly, so close to your entry going into earning, I'm not sure I will stay in it anyway. But you gotta just make decisions and then go from there. Now this is on my list now. Again, pull back buy, right? Not doing anything new. Pull back buy. This comes down, somehow rounds up, and then you buy it when it's starting to turn back up. I just wanted to kind of point that out here while this was setting up. So this was getting stopping out on the 14 while Tesla and SMTC were setting up. So hopefully that was education. Hopefully you took something from that, and I'll get that posted as soon as I can. Again, apologize that the audio will continue to figure out what to do with it. All right. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.